The most powerful decision you will ever make is the one no one else hears about. That single truth is the foundation for everything we are about to explore. In a world that never stops talking, where everyone seems busy announcing their dreams, sharing their progress, and celebrating victories they haven't yet secured, it's easy to get lost in the noise. But words alone don't build anything real. It's the silent, focused work that carves out a meaningful life. This is what we will delve into today. The art of keeping your goals to yourself, focusing in the quiet moments, and letting your success make the noise for you. You don't need to broadcast your ambitions. You don't have to justify your every move. All you need is a quiet commitment to yourself, a promise to show up each day, to get a little better, and to trust that the results will eventually speak for themselves. This journey is about teaching you how to protect your focus, how to guard your energy, and how to stop performing for an audience and start producing real, tangible outcomes. If you are truly serious about creating lasting success, this is where it all begins. Quietly, consistently, and without needing to say a word. It all starts with a simple, profound decision. Close your mouth and get serious about your life. This isn't about being secretive for the sake of it. It's about shifting your energy from talking to doing. It's about ending the habit of explaining your plans to people who aren't walking in your shoes, who don't share your vision. It's about waking up one morning and deciding you've had enough of the distractions, enough of the wasted time, the empty talk, and the pretense that everything is fine when it's not. That quiet, internal decision is the catalyst that changes everything. You don't need anyone's permission to begin. You don't need their approval along the way. And you certainly don't need their applause to keep going. What you need is an unwavering focus. You need to have a real, honest conversation with yourself, one that ends with the declaration, "I'm done playing small. I'm done procrastinating. I'm done looking for shortcuts. I'm just going to do the work." So many people spend more time talking about their aspirations than they do actually working towards them. They post their goals on social media. They tell their friends about their grand plans, but they never lay the first brick. Do you know why? Because talking is easy. It creates the illusion of progress, giving you a temporary boost of confidence without any real results to back it up. True progress, the kind that lasts, begins the moment you go quiet. It begins when you decide to stop sharing every detail and start fixing what needs to be fixed. When you start waking up a little earlier, when you stop wasting precious hours with people who are going nowhere, when you eliminate the distractions and dedicate yourself to the task at hand. That is the beginning of something real. You owe no one an explanation for your goals. Not your friends, not your neighbors, not even your family. This is your life, and if you want to transform it, you have to start acting like it's your responsibility. Most people won't understand your newfound hunger. They won't understand your silence, and that's perfectly fine. They don't have to. You are not building your life to make sense to others. You are building it to become the person you know. Deep down, you are meant to be. And that version of you, the one you dream about in your quietest moments, the one you've kept hidden for so long, that version doesn't need attention. It needs action. You can either keep talking about the changes you want to make, or you can actually make them. You can keep explaining your vision, or you can start living it. The world doesn't need to hear your intentions. It needs to witness your transformation. There is an incredible power in silence, a kind of strength that grows and multiplies when no one is watching. You get serious about your life when you stop chasing validation, when you no longer need someone to agree with your choices, when you stop updating everyone on your every move. You don't grow by telling, you grow by doing. Start asking yourself the tough questions. Are you using your time wisely? Are you making the most of your mornings? Are you strengthening your body? Are you nurturing your mind? Are you learning new skills? Or are you just drifting through each day, scrolling, talking, and wishing things were different? If you want to make a genuine change, begin by cutting out the noise. Stop trying to impress people who aren't even doing anything meaningful with their own lives. Stop trying to explain yourself to people who don't understand the concept of growth. That is a trap. Every time you choose to talk instead of act, you trade your power for a fleeting moment of comfort. And every time you trade action for comfort, you remain exactly where you are. Take your goals seriously. Take your time seriously. Take your future seriously. Because if you don't, no one else will. Do you want to be respected? Then build something worthy of respect. Do you want people to take you seriously? Then you must first take yourself seriously. You don't have to announce what you're doing. Just get to work. Show up day after day. Improve your habits one by one. Keep your space organized. Build your discipline. Stop skipping the necessary work. No one may see it now, but one day they will look at you and wonder how you did it. And the answer will be simple. You closed your mouth and you got serious. You stopped needing others to cheer for you. You stopped waiting for the perfect moment. You stopped explaining every single step. You just started walking. You learned to find peace in the quiet. You made peace with being misunderstood. And you used that silence to build something that speaks volumes on its own. There is something incredibly powerful about a person who doesn't feel the need to talk all the time. Someone who can walk into a room and their presence says everything. That is who you can become. But you have to want it badly enough. You have to be tired of being average. Tired of feeling like you're falling behind. Tired of the same old routine that leads nowhere. You have to be willing to make the difficult choices. You must decide that your future is more important than temporary comfort. Most people are busy being loud about things that don't matter. Be the one who is quiet and build something that does. Build your discipline. Build your health. Build your knowledge. Build your craft. Build the kind of life that makes people look at you and wonder, how did they do that? And you won't need to say a single word, because your results will be the answer. If you want to win in public, you must be willing to fight in private. You need to do the work that nobody sees. You need to master the skills that don't get likes or shares. You need to put your head down and grind every single day, without skipping, without complaining, without waiting, because this is your life, and no one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you a better future. You have to earn it with your effort, with your focus, with your consistency. It's not glamorous, it's not easy, but it's real, and it works. You have a choice. You can keep talking about what you're going to do, or you can shut your mouth and do it. One path leads to a lifetime of excuses. The other leads to a legacy of results. So, close your mouth, get serious, stay quiet, stay hungry, and build something that simply cannot be ignored. That's how you focus in silence. That's how you win in public. Work quietly on your goals every single day. That is the fundamental mindset of someone who is truly ready to transform their life. It might not sound exciting, it might not seem flashy, but it is the most effective strategy there is. Real, sustainable progress always begins the moment you stop waiting for motivation to strike and start showing up with discipline. Not just once a week, not only when it's convenient for you, but every single day. Quietly, consistently, without making a spectacle of it. The problem is that too many people want the results without being willing to do the boring, repetitive work that creates those results. They want to be seen as hard-working, but they don't want to actually put in the effort when no one is watching. That's precisely why they stay stuck. That's why they find themselves starting over again and again. They are constantly looking for a magic formula, a secret shortcut. But the real secret is this: be consistent even when it's not exciting. Keep showing up even when there's no one there to applaud you. That is where genuine progress begins. If you are serious about your future, you must treat your goals as if they matter every single day. Not just on the days you feel good, not only when you feel motivated, every single day. Because life doesn't reward people who work hard only once in a while. It rewards those who consistently put in the time. Even when it's uncomfortable, even when progress feels slow, even when it seems like nothing is happening. Those are the individuals who ultimately pull far ahead of the pack. You need to build a rhythm that works for you, not someone else's routine you saw online, not what looks impressive to others. You have to find your own sustainable pace. Perhaps that means waking up an hour earlier. Maybe it means cutting out a few activities that are wasting your time. Whatever it is, make the change. Don't wait for the perfect time to start. That day will never arrive. Just begin. Start small if you must, but start now. The people who ultimately win are not the ones who talk the most. They're not the ones who are constantly announcing what they're working on. They are the ones who show up day after day, quietly getting a little bit better, without feeling the need to explain their process to anyone. You might see them a year from now and be amazed at how much they've transformed. But what you didn't see were the 6 a.m. mornings. You didn't see the nights they chose work over comfort. You didn't see the unwavering discipline. And you weren't supposed to see it, because they weren't doing it for show. They were doing it for themselves. That is the crucial distinction. You must stop trying to impress other people and start building something for yourself. Don't post about it. Don't brag about it. Don't wait for feedback. Just work. Focus on the goal, focus on the mission, and stay with it. You don't need a crowd to cheer you on. You need a reason, a deep why that keeps you going when things get hard. A reason that doesn't fade when the world gets quiet. Start thinking in the long term. Don't chase quick, superficial results. Don't try to rush the process. Building anything of meaning takes time. It takes effort. It takes sacrifice. And yes, it will be lonely at times. There will be days when nobody understands what you're doing. There will be moments when you begin to question yourself. But you must keep going. That is part of the process. Those who persevere through the difficult parts are the ones who ultimately get somewhere worthwhile. You have to become comfortable with not being noticed for a while. You have to be okay with putting in work that doesn't get immediate recognition. Because eventually, the results will begin to show. Eventually, your growth will speak louder and more eloquently than any words you could have ever said. But you have to earn it. You have to show up for it. And you have to be patient with it. It's not just about working hard, it's about working smart. Use your time wisely. Don't just be busy for the sake of being busy. Be focused. Know exactly what you are trying to build. Make a plan. Write it down. Break it down into small, manageable daily steps. And then, follow through. Every single day. Even when you're tired, even when the initial excitement has worn off, show up anyway. That is how you build unstoppable momentum. The truth is, your future depends entirely on the choices you make when no one is watching. It depends on what you do with your mornings, your evenings, your free hours. That time adds up. 1 hour of focused effort every single day is over 350 hours in a year. That's more than enough time to completely change the trajectory of your life. But it doesn't happen if you skip days. It doesn't happen if you keep waiting for inspiration to strike. It happens when you make it a non-negotiable habit. Discipline doesn't feel good in the beginning, but it feels infinitely better than regret. Most people live with a heavy weight of regret because they waited too long to get serious. They waited for the right time, the right feeling, the perfect moment, and in that waiting, they lost years of their lives. Don't let that be your story. Make the decision now. Start the habit now. Commit to the process now. And understand this as well. You are not going to feel motivated every day. That is completely normal. But it is not a valid reason to stop. You are not supposed to feel amazing all the time. You are supposed to keep going anyway. Motivation is a fleeting feeling. Discipline is a commitment. Motivation comes and goes. Habits are what you build. And while you're building, remember to protect your peace of mind. You don't need to explain your new routine. You don't owe anyone your schedule. You don't need to convince anyone why you're working late, why you're skipping the parties, why you're not always available. Stay quiet. Stay focused. You are not doing this for attention. You are doing this for freedom. You are doing this for strength. You are doing this because your life deserves more than the bare minimum. There is a special kind of pride that comes from knowing you've been consistent when nobody was looking, that you've been improving yourself without needing to show off, that you've kept your word to yourself even when it wasn't easy. That is the kind of pride that builds real, unshakable confidence. Not the fake confidence that is based on likes and praise, but real confidence that comes from showing up for yourself, again and again. Eventually, people will notice. But by then, you won't need their validation. You will already know who you have become. And that is the ultimate goal, to become someone you are genuinely proud of, someone who didn't quit, someone who stayed true to the work, someone who made a decision and followed through on it. You don't need a louder voice. You need a stronger routine. You don't need more opinions. You need more time dedicated to your goals. You don't need to talk about your vision. You need to live it, step by step, day by day, in silence. Because the best work you will ever do will be the work that no one sees. And the best version of you will be built in the quiet hours, far away from the noise, the pressure, the opinions, and the distractions. Work quietly every single day. And when the time is right, Your results will say everything that needs to be said. Stop proving and start doing what really matters. That is the precise point where your life begins to change in a meaningful way. Not when you successfully convince people of your worth, not when you manage to impress them, but when you decide that you no longer need their approval to move forward. Most people waste an immense amount of energy trying to be liked, trying to be understood, trying to be accepted. But none of that moves your life forward an inch. None of that builds your future. The simple truth is, you don't need to prove anything to anyone else. You need to make progress. Quiet, steady, personal progress. That is what truly matters. The constant need to prove yourself keeps you trapped in a cycle of seeking permission. You explain yourself, you post updates, you chase after recognition. But here's what's really happening beneath the surface. You are slowing down. You are losing your focus. You forget why you even started, because now you're not doing it for your own growth. You're doing it to be noticed. And that is where the downfall begins. When you care more about being seen than about becoming better, you trade real progress for a shallow performance. That is how so many people get stuck in the same place for years. You don't need to announce every single step you take. You don't need to be right in every single conversation. You don't need to be understood by everyone you meet. That is not the goal. The goal is to improve, to evolve, to fix what is broken within you, to face your own weaknesses and do something constructive about them. That process doesn't require noise. It requires action. It requires brutal honesty with yourself. It requires you to stop pretending and start working. The world is filled with people who talk a great deal, but do very little. They dress the part, they speak the part, but nothing in their lives ever fundamentally changes. That's because their focus is on their image, not on their growth. They are addicted to looking like they are winning instead of doing the difficult work that actually builds a win. If you want something better for yourself, you must stop following that pattern. Stop trying to be impressive. Start trying to be real. Start trying to be effective. Doing what really matters means cutting through all the distractions. It means getting serious about how you spend your time. It means you take a hard look at your daily habits and ask yourself, are these habits helping me get where I want to go? And if the answer is no, you change them. Not tomorrow, not when it's easy. You change them now. Because your life isn't going to wait for you. Your goals are not going to build themselves. You either do the work or you don't. People spend years of their lives trying to earn the respect of people who don't even know what they want in their own lives. They base their most important choices on how things look to others instead of on what actually works for them. They avoid doing the hard things because the hard things rarely come with instant praise. But here is the undeniable truth. What really matters rarely looks exciting from the outside. It looks like early mornings. It looks like cutting out sources of cheap comfort. It looks like making sacrifices now so that you can live a better life later. And most of all, it looks like saying no to things that waste your time, even when those things are popular and widely accepted. Doing what really matters requires clarity. You can't chase after everything and expect to make meaningful progress in any one area. You have to define what is truly important to you. You have to know what your non-negotiable priorities are. And once you know, you protect them fiercely. You don't compromise on them. You don't make excuses. You don't wait for others to support your decision. You build your own reasons. You stay focused even when others around you don't understand. That is how serious people live their lives. When you stop feeling the need to prove yourself, you liberate yourself. You stop needing the world's permission to be great. You stop waiting for a round of applause. And you start making decisions based on your own internal standards. That is where real, authentic strength comes from. When you can stand on your own 2 feet, when you can show up without needing a crowd, when you can push yourself forward, even when no one is clapping for you. That is growth. That is maturity. That is leadership. Some people won't understand the choices you make. Some will doubt your abilities. Some will think you've changed. And they are right. You have changed. Because staying the same means staying stuck. Growth means doing things differently. It means walking away from habits that no longer serve you. It means focusing more on the results you are producing than on the reactions you are getting. And it means being completely okay with being misunderstood, because you know that you are building something deeper and more meaningful than what people can see on the surface. You owe it to yourself to take your life seriously. Not in a way that is rigid or cold, but in a way that is clear and intentional. Your days matter. Your energy matters. Your purpose matters. And when you stop trying to prove that to other people, you finally have the space and the energy to prove it to yourself. You prove it by how you show up every single day. You prove it by how you handle setbacks. You prove it by how you keep the promises you make to yourself, even when nobody is watching. What really matters is not how many people approve of your effort. What matters is the life you build as a result of your effort. The inner peace you earn from showing up every day. The confidence you develop from doing what is hard and not quitting. The strength that comes from knowing you don't need to explain your path. You just need to walk it. And make no mistake, walking that path isn't always going to be easy. You will have doubts. You will have days when nothing seems to make sense. You will feel like giving up. You will wonder if it's all worth it. But if you stay committed to doing what matters, the answer will always be a resounding yes. Because the results that come from that kind of dedicated effort are solid. They last. They change you from the inside out. You are not here on this earth to perform for other people. You are not here to get likes or validation. You are here to become the person you were always meant to be. And that version of you, the one with strength, with discipline, with clarity, that version doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. That version simply lives the truth. So stop talking about your vision and start building it. Stop chasing after attention and start chasing after progress. Stop trying to impress people and start trying to improve yourself. And do it for you. Not for show, not for status. For your own growth, for your own peace, for real, lasting change. You will look back one day and realize that the greatest shift in your life didn't happen when someone else finally believed in you. It happened when you stopped needing them to. It happened when you got up, focused on what truly mattered, and followed through, day by day, quietly, honestly, without needing to be seen. That's when everything started to change. That's when you stopped proving and started living. Build your habits without telling anyone about them. This is one of the most powerful and transformative things you can possibly do. It's not because being secretive makes you mysterious or interesting, but because when you keep your process to yourself, your focus remains razor sharp and your effort stays completely honest. Most people sabotage their own growth by feeling the need to announce everything they do. They start something good, and before it even has a chance to take root, they are talking about it. They post about it online. They want to be praised for something they have barely even begun. And as soon as they receive that external approval, the internal motivation begins to fade. Why? Because now it feels like they have already accomplished something great, when in reality they haven't followed through on anything yet. Building habits is an intensely personal process. It is not for the camera. It is not for a crowd. It is for you. And the more you keep it private, the more real and ingrained it becomes. The more it grows inside of you until it is a natural part of who you are. A habit is not a public statement. It is a repeated, private action. It is something you do without needing any attention for it. Over time, it becomes part of your very identity. And that can only happen when you remain consistent in the quiet moments, when no one is asking you what you're working on, and no one is giving you any credit. That is where true strength is forged. You don't need to announce to the world that you've started waking up early. Just wake up early. You don't need to tell people you're reading more books. Just read the books. You don't need to explain your new schedule or show everyone your detailed workout plan. Just follow it. Your habit doesn't become stronger by talking about it. It becomes stronger by repeating it. When you do things in silence, you protect your precious energy. You avoid the trap of needing someone else to approve of your personal growth. You avoid having to explain yourself when you inevitably hit a setback. And you avoid the temptation to quit just because people aren't noticing your effort. Growth doesn't need a stage. It needs consistency. It needs time. It needs privacy. It needs you to stay with it, even when it gets boring and monotonous. At the beginning of any new endeavor, your willpower is at its weakest. You are building something new and unfamiliar. You are not used to it yet. And in that delicate phase, talking about it too soon can completely kill the momentum. Because once you start sharing, you invite opinions, you invite distractions, you invite judgment, and all of that can easily throw you off course. You start worrying about how it looks to others instead of how it feels to you. You start trying to match external expectations instead of staying true to your own path. But when you keep it all to yourself, you don't have to prove anything to anyone. You are not performing. You are not trying to sound impressive. You are just showing up quietly, repeatedly. That is how real, lasting change happens. That is how new habits take root in the background of your life, in the daily grind, in the parts of your day that no one else ever sees. You don't have to justify your discipline to anyone. You don't have to explain why you are changing. Just change. Improve your diet without posting a single picture of your food. Spend time learning a new skill without announcing it. Save your money without sharing your financial goals. These small choices, made daily and kept private, will build a foundation of self-respect that nobody can ever take away from you. Some people won't notice your growth at first. Some people might even question why you seem a bit distant or different. That's perfectly fine. You are not living your life for them. You are not making choices to ensure their comfort. You are creating a better future for yourself. And that future is built with habits that you stick to, not with habits that you talk about. Every single day, you have a chance to do something that helps you grow. Wake up and get after it without needing to be seen. Track your progress privately. Reflect on your mistakes quietly. Adjust your strategy in peace. You will be amazed at how quickly your life changes when your energy is spent on doing instead of explaining. Building your habits without sharing them also teaches you something incredibly powerful: self-trust. You start to believe in yourself on a much deeper level. You no longer need a reminder from the outside world to keep going. You've made a promise to yourself, and you are keeping it. That is what truly changes your confidence. Not compliments, not praise, but the deep internal knowing that you've been consistent even when no one noticed. And this kind of discipline eventually becomes a part of you. You wake up, and your day already has structure. You don't waste time wondering what to do. You don't need to find motivation every single morning. You've built a system, and now that system carries you forward. But it only works if you have done the hard part first. Building it when it was tough, when it wasn't exciting, and when nobody was watching. People will see the results later on, but by then, you won't even care about showing off. You'll be too focused on your next goal. You'll be living your life in a way that feels right and authentic to you. And that kind of quiet strength, unshaken, focused, intentional, that is the kind of power that lasts a lifetime. Stop trying to impress people with your goals. Show them your discipline through your results. Let them wonder how you changed so much. Let your new habits speak for themselves. You don't need to tell them what you are doing. Just keep doing it. And when they eventually ask what changed, you won't even need to say a word, because it will be completely obvious. This approach also protects your mindset. When you stop telling everyone your plans, you avoid a great deal of unnecessary pressure. You give yourself the room to make mistakes, to learn, and to adjust your approach without the fear of looking like you have failed in front of an audience. You don't owe anyone perfection. You owe yourself growth. And growth is often a messy process. It takes time. It doesn't follow a straight, linear path. But if you stay with it quietly, it will reward you in ways that no amount of applause ever could. Be the person who takes action in silence, who becomes better behind the scenes, who is not driven by recognition, but by self-respect. Build a life that works whether or not anyone else sees it, and you will find a kind of inner peace that is difficult to shake. Your habits will build your future, one day, one action at a time. And if you stay consistent for long enough, they will carry you through challenges that used to break you. You will become someone who doesn't just talk about discipline. You live it. You don't post about change. You embody it. This is how strong people live their lives. They make their moves in silence. They improve quietly. And they let time reveal their transformation. That is the way to go. That is the mindset that wins. That is how you build a life that lasts. Take action daily and say nothing about it. That is how you effectively separate the people who genuinely want to change from those who are just talking about it. The ones who move in silence, who put in the work every single day without needing attention or approval. Those are the ones who ultimately end up transforming their lives. It's not the ones who are always explaining their process. not the ones who are constantly sharing updates, and not the ones waiting for someone to notice their effort. Quiet action, repeated consistently over time, is what builds results that speak far louder than anything you could ever say. Every day, life presents you with an opportunity to get better. You don't need to tell anyone what you are about to do. You just need to do it. You don't need to prove that you are serious. Show it in your discipline. Show it in your consistency. Show it in your outcomes. People waste so much precious time talking about what they are planning to do. They get addicted to the feeling of making announcements. But announcements don't create transformation. Work does. Quiet, steady, sometimes boring, but honest work, done daily. You don't need a crowd. You don't need applause. You don't need to share your plans in group chats or post updates every time you take a small step. Most people do that because they are looking for accountability from the outside world. But the kind of accountability that truly sticks, that comes from within. It comes from knowing that you don't need anyone watching you to give your best effort. It comes from knowing that you are building something for yourself, not for the applause of others. If something truly matters to you, you will show up for it. Not just once a week, not only when it feels easy. You will show up every day. Whether you are tired, stressed, busy, or bored, you will show up. That is what creates real change. Not the loud goals, not the dramatic declarations, but the quiet, consistent follow-through. Do you want to improve your health? Show up. Do you want to become more skilled in your craft? Show up. Do you want to turn your life around? Show up. And do it without saying a single word. People often mistake silence for weakness. But real strength is being able to do the necessary work when nobody sees you doing it, when nobody is praising you for it, and when nobody is checking in on you. You know what you are doing. You know where you are going. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need to defend your routine. Just take the next step, and then the next one, and keep taking them. There is a special kind of power that builds inside of you when you act without needing a reaction from the outside world. You stop being dependent on validation. You stop waiting for feedback. You begin to trust yourself on a profound level. You begin to build a deep connection with your own process. You don't need constant reminders. You don't need to watch motivation videos every morning. You have made a choice. And now, you live by that choice. Not loudly, not emotionally, but quietly, with focus, and from a grounded place. You don't have to make a lot of noise to make a lot of progress. And you don't need to explain your priorities to people who simply don't understand them. Your time belongs to you. Your energy belongs to your vision. Every single time you take action, without making a big deal out of it, you build more discipline. You build more inner control. You build that quiet, unstoppable momentum that can't be stopped, because now you are not doing it for approval. You are doing it because it matters to you. That is what most people fail to understand. They think that if their effort isn't seen by others, it somehow doesn't count. But the truth is, the best and most meaningful progress happens in the dark, when no one is asking about it, when no one is cheering for it. That is where the real wins are created. That is where new standards are set for yourself. Not when the camera is on, but when the world is silent and you still show up. Taking action daily means building a life with intention and structure. You don't need to force yourself to do things every day. You just need to commit to them. You don't need to rely on your moods or feelings. You need to rely on the fact that your actions today will directly shape your life tomorrow. Every workout, every journal entry, every chapter read, every focused hour of work. These are the building blocks. These are the steps. If you stack enough of them on top of each other, you will look back a year from now and barely recognize the person you used to be. Not because you said you would change, but because you actually did the work to change. Stay away from the distractions that pull you into the game of proving yourself. Stay away from people who are always asking you what you're doing, but never seem to be doing anything themselves. Stay away from the pressure to be loud and public about your journey. The quieter your progress is, the more real and solid it becomes. The more silent your effort, the more profound your growth. You don't have to tell them you are working. Let the outcome of your work make that abundantly clear. Every day you wake up, you are faced with a choice. You can go back to comfort, or you can take action once again. And if you choose to take action, do it with full intention. Do it like it's the only thing that matters in that moment. Don't rush it. Don't chase after shortcuts. Just do it well. And once it's done, move on to the next task. There's no need to brag about it. There's no need to show off. You know what you did, and that is more than enough. People who successfully change their lives don't need the world to agree with their methods. They just need to believe in their own decision and follow through on it. That is the core of all success. Belief followed by consistent action. Not words, not posts, not promises. Just effort. Daily, quiet, honest effort. And when things get tough, and they most certainly will, don't complain about it. Don't try to explain it away. Just keep moving forward. Adjust your approach if you need to. Learn from the experience. Get stronger because of it. But never stop moving. Every hard day that you survive adds another layer of grit to your character. Every silent win that you earn builds your confidence. And every action you take without telling anyone brings you one step closer to becoming someone who lives on purpose, not for attention. This life isn't about being seen doing the work. It's about doing the work and letting it shape you into a better person. The less you talk, the more you will do. And the more you do, the more you will grow. And that growth will eventually become undeniable. Not because you told people about it, but because they will see it in how you carry yourself, in how you speak, and in how you live your life. Take action today, then again tomorrow, and then the day after that. You don't have to announce it. You don't have to explain it. Just show up, day after day, one step at a time, quietly, steadily, and watch how everything in your life begins to change. Not all at once, not in a public spectacle, but deep inside, where it counts the most. That is where true success is born. In the quiet decisions, in the daily effort, in the choice to act without saying a single thing. Improve yourself in silence and trust your pace. That is how real, lasting change is built. Not in the middle of all the noise, not in a frantic race against others, but in the quiet, steady process of getting better on your own terms. It's not about being faster than someone else. It's not about constantly comparing your timeline to theirs. It's about learning to move with intention, not with pressure. To get better because you have decided that you are worth more than where you are right now, not because you feel the need to be seen doing it. The world moves at an incredibly fast pace. Everywhere you look, people are showing off their progress, sharing their routines, and broadcasting their results. And if you're not careful, you can easily start to feel like you are falling behind. But behind what, exactly? Whose clock are you living your life by? Who told you that you had to catch up to some imaginary standard? The truth is, nobody's path is the same as yours. And the only timeline that truly matters is your own. But you can only truly understand and accept that when you step away from the constant pressure to prove yourself to others. When you decide to grow quietly, without asking for anyone's permission or validation. Silence protects your process. It gives you the room you need to breathe, to reflect, and to work without the added pressure of external expectations. It allows you to make mistakes without feeling like you have failed in front of an entire audience. And that is incredibly important, because growth is a messy, non-linear process. Some days will feel strong and productive, while other days will feel uncertain and slow. But all of it counts. And when you give yourself the space to experience it all without feeling the need to broadcast every high and low, you begin to develop a deeper kind of strength, one that doesn't need external approval to keep going. Improving yourself in silence doesn't mean that you don't care about what you're doing. It means you care enough to stay completely focused. It means you're not chasing after the noise. You're not looking for applause. You are building something real. And real progress takes time. It takes patience. It takes the kind of dedicated effort that nobody else will ever see. But you will feel it. You'll feel it in your increased focus, in the quality of your choices, and in how you start to show up differently in the world. You grow when you stop rushing. You grow when you stop comparing your beginning to someone else's middle. You grow when you stop trying to force the outcome and start trusting the process. There is a natural rhythm to your life. Find it. Follow it. Don't fight against it. There is no prize for being the fastest, but there is an immense sense of peace in being the most grounded. There is power in showing up for yourself at your own pace and knowing that it is consistency, not speed, that will ultimately get you where you want to go. Trusting your pace means respecting where you are right now in your journey. It means not beating yourself up for not being further along. It means recognizing and celebrating your wins, even the small ones, because they all matter. Every new habit that you manage to stick with, every day that you don't quit, every time you keep going without needing to talk about it, that is growth. That is improvement. That is what builds a foundation that won't crack when things inevitably get tough. Most people fall apart, not because they are inherently weak, but because they try to force change too quickly. They want a complete transformation overnight. They want to see results in a week. And when that doesn't happen, they lose hope and give up. But the ones who ultimately win, they are the ones who don't rush. They are the ones who put in the work, day after day, and let the results come when they are ready. They don't need to prove anything to anyone. They just keep going, quietly, patiently, and relentlessly. It's easy to want progress to happen fast, but what you build quickly often falls apart just as quickly. Take your time. Build slowly if you have to. What truly matters is that you don't stop. What matters is that every single day you are doing something to move yourself forward. Even if it's a small step, Even if it doesn't look like much from the outside, you know what it means. You know how hard it was, and that is more than enough. Improving in silence gives you a sense of control. You are no longer waiting for someone to notice your effort before you feel motivated. You are not basing your self-worth on how much attention you are getting. You are doing the work because it is a part of who you are becoming. You are doing it because it matters to you. That is the kind of growth that sticks. That is the kind of growth that can never be taken away from you. Some days you will feel slow. Some days you will feel like nothing is changing. But it is. Every single day that you show up and choose effort over comfort, something inside of you shifts. You are becoming more patient, more focused, more capable. But you won't always see it right away. That is why you need to learn to trust your pace. Believe in what you are building, even when it's quiet. Especially when it's quiet. You don't owe the world any updates. You don't need to explain why you are changing. Just keep going. The people who are meant to notice your growth will notice it, but by then, you won't even need their approval because you will have built something far more valuable: self-respect. And that only comes from doing the work when it is invisible, when it is uncomfortable, and when nobody else is cheering you on. If you are waiting for the perfect moment to go all in, stop waiting. The perfect moment is right now. Start exactly where you are. Use what you have. Move at your own speed. And do it quietly. Not because you are hiding, but because you are focused. Because you know that what you are building doesn't need to be shouted about. It needs to be done. You will know that you are genuinely improving when your actions start to become habits. When you no longer need to talk yourself into doing the right thing. You just do it. When skipping your routine starts to feel unnatural. When discipline begins to feel like your new normal. That shift doesn't happen in a rush. It happens in silence over a long period of time with consistent effort and repetition. And if you fall off track, get back up quietly. There's no need to make a big deal out of it. There's no need to start all over again with a new grand announcement. Just return to your rhythm. Return to your pace. One step at a time. That is all it takes. There is something incredibly powerful about someone who doesn't need to be seen to stay consistent. Someone who doesn't depend on applause. Someone who can keep working through doubt, through boredom, and through hard days. That is not weakness. That is resilience. And it is built through silent effort, day after day. Your journey is uniquely yours. You set the tone. You decide the pace. You choose how it looks, how it feels, and how it unfolds. So, choose patience. Choose privacy. Choose persistence. Keep improving yourself, and trust that every single step, no matter how quiet or how small, is leading you somewhere better. Not fast, not loud, but real. Stay focused on your path and ignore opinions. That is the essential mindset that protects your peace, sharpens your clarity, and ultimately gets you where you truly want to go. You can't effectively walk forward while constantly turning your head to see who is watching. You can't build something meaningful while giving your precious attention to every single voice around you. The world is full of noise. People will always have something to say. Some will question your methods. Some will doubt your abilities. Some won't understand you at all. And that's okay. It is not your job to convince them. It is your job to stay locked in on your purpose. When you make the decision to take your life seriously, you will inevitably feel resistance, not just from within yourself, but also from the people around you. Some will try to pull you back to your old ways. Some will make jokes about your new discipline. Some will offer you unsolicited advice that is based on their own fears and limitations, not on your vision. If you are not careful, you will start adjusting your pace just to make other people feel more comfortable. You will begin to second-guess your own choices. You will start looking for external reassurance, and that is how you lose your momentum. You start watering down your effort to match their expectations. But you don't need to be understood by everyone. You need to be understood by yourself. You need to know what matters to you and why you are doing what you are doing. That internal clarity is infinitely more powerful than any external opinion. You don't owe people an explanation for choosing a path of growth. You don't have to make sense to people who are content with standing still. If they are not living your life, their opinions should not be shaping your direction. Staying focused means protecting your mental energy. It means being selective about what gets your attention. Every single time you stop what you're doing to respond to criticism or to prove something to someone, you are taking time and energy away from the real work. You are slowing down your own progress just to win a debate that doesn't even matter in the long run. Let them talk. Let them wonder. Let them guess. You have a path to walk, and you simply cannot afford to be distracted. You were not born to please everyone. You were not created to live your life by someone else's standards. If your vision is clear, and if your intentions are honest, then just keep moving. Keep refining your craft. Keep building yourself up. You do not need the world's permission to grow. You just need the courage to ignore the noise and keep showing up for yourself. Opinions don't build skills. Opinions don't put in the work for you. Opinions don't wake up early for you. They don't study for you, and they don't make sacrifices for you. You do all of that. So why would you let opinions carry more weight than your own dedicated effort? Why would you let the words of people who are not building anything themselves hold you back from building everything you've ever wanted? Not everyone is going to like the way you move. Not everyone will support the new boundaries you set. Some people are more comfortable with the older version of you. The one who used to say yes to everything. The one who used to play small. The one who used to just blend in. But you are not here to stay the same. You are here to rise. And rising often means walking alone, at least for a while. It means standing firm in your convictions when people question you. It means trusting your own vision, even when nobody else can see it. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Growth looks different for everyone. What feels right for you might feel strange to others. What you value might not make any sense to them. But it doesn't have to. That is not your burden to carry. What you are doing makes sense to your future self, the one you are in the process of becoming. That version of you will thank you for staying focused, for not giving in, for not needing everyone to clap for you. The world rewards results, not explanations. So, focus on your routine. Focus on your habits. Focus on the person you are becoming. The outside voices will get quieter the more you stay committed to your path. The doubt will begin to fade when your progress starts to speak for you. And the opinions that once felt so heavy will lose all of their power when you realize that they were never really about you in the first place. Most people are just projecting their own fears, their own insecurities, and their own regrets onto you. When they see you doing something that they never had the courage to do, it challenges their own sense of self, so they criticize it. Don't take it personally. Just keep working. You were not put here on this earth to follow the crowd. You were not born to live your life on repeat. You have a direction, a calling, a path that is yours and yours alone. And the more you honor that path, the stronger you will become. The more focused you stay, the more everything in your life will start to line up. You will build discipline. You will build clarity. You will build momentum. But all of that depends on one crucial thing: your ability to stay centered, especially when people start to talk. And they will talk. Some will misunderstand you. Some will laugh at you. Some will give you advice that you didn't ask for. But they won't see your late nights. They won't feel the pressure that you carry. They won't understand the battles that you fight in silence. You are the one who is walking this road. You are the one who is putting in the effort. So do not hand over control of your life to people who are not doing the work. Focus is a decision. Every single day, you choose what to give your energy to. You choose what matters. You choose what deserves your attention. And if you keep choosing distraction, you will stay stuck. But if you choose discipline, if you choose your vision, you will eventually break through. You will build something real. And when the results finally come, they will come because you stayed steady and true to your path, not because you tried to be popular. So shut out the noise. Turn down the volume on the opinions. Say no to unnecessary conversations. Let your actions be the answer. Let your growth be the response. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be great. And greatness requires an unwavering focus. It requires ignoring the side comments, the social pressure, and the endless comparisons. It requires having the courage to do what you know in your heart is right, even when it is not loud or praised by the masses. Keep your eyes on your goals. Keep your schedule tight. Keep your circle strong and supportive. If someone is not helping you move forward in life, then their opinion is nothing more than a distraction. Stay focused. Keep your head down. Build in silence. Move with purpose. And when the time is right, your progress will speak for itself. And by then, the opinions won't even matter anymore, because you will know who you have become. You will know the work that you have put in. You will look around at the life you have built, the habits you have created, the confidence you have developed, and you will realize that staying focused was the best decision you ever made. Not for them, for you. Always for you. Handle your struggles alone and grow from them. This doesn't mean you have to prove your strength or do everything by yourself forever. It means recognizing that there is a unique power in facing your most difficult moments without immediately reaching for someone else to carry the weight for you. True growth starts when you stop running from your pain and start learning how to walk through it. There is no shortcut around this process. The most valuable lessons you will ever learn in life won't come from books or from advice. They will come from what you manage to survive on your own. When you are going through hard times, it is easy to look outward, to blame the world, to wait for someone to notice that you are hurting. But real, lasting strength is built when you look inward and decide to take control of what you can. even if it's just your attitude, your very next step, or where you place your focus. People will say they understand, but nobody can truly feel your struggle in the exact same way that you do. No one else carries the precise weight that you carry. That is why relying too much on others won't help you build the strength you will need for the next level of your life. The truth is, most of your personal growth will come from the moments when you feel like you are about to break down, but you don't. From the times when you want to quit, but you choose to move forward anyway. Those moments are what shape you. They test what you are truly made of. They expose your weaknesses, but they also give you the opportunity to build something stronger in their place. You stop pretending. You stop talking. You stop complaining. And you start facing things head-on, even when you are tired and completely overwhelmed. There is nothing wrong with asking for help when it is genuinely needed. But some seasons in life require silence. They require you to sit with your struggle and figure out what it is trying to teach you. Not every single thing needs to be shared. Not every breakdown needs an audience. Some pain is there to show you something about yourself that you would have never seen otherwise. You don't become stronger by avoiding the storm. You become stronger by learning how to stand in the middle of it and not give in. The more you depend on other people to fix what is broken inside of you, the longer it will take for you to build the resilience that your future demands. You won't always have people around to support you. You won't always get the support that you expect. But you will always have your choices. You will always have your ability to decide how you are going to respond. That is where your power truly lies. That is where real growth begins. When you can say to yourself, "This is incredibly hard, but I am not going to let it stop me." Most people actively avoid discomfort. They try to numb it. They distract themselves from it. But if you want to grow, you have to be willing to sit with it, to feel it, and to let it reveal the areas of your life that you have been ignoring. The bad habits, the weak patterns of thinking, the emotional laziness. Struggles have a way of stripping all of that away. They leave you face to face with your own truth. And when you face that truth alone, you change in ways that no easy path could have ever prepared you for. Handling your struggles in silence doesn't mean that you have to suffer in secret. It means that you choose to cultivate strength over seeking sympathy. It means you use your pain as fuel, not as an excuse. It means you stop looking for someone to come and rescue you, and you start becoming the kind of person who can rescue yourself. That shift in mindset is where genuine growth begins. You become more than just someone who got through something difficult. You become someone who became better because of it. When you stop looking for someone to blame and instead look for what you can control, you take your power back. You start building routines that make you mentally tougher. You start taking control of your environment. You stop wasting your time explaining yourself to others and start using that time to rebuild your mind. The struggle might be loud, but your discipline has to be louder. The outside world might be chaotic, but your focus has to remain intact. You learn to talk to yourself in a stronger, more encouraging voice. You learn to motivate yourself when no one else is around to do it. You learn to keep going without waiting for someone to check on you. That independence becomes your new foundation. That kind of mindset is incredibly rare. Most people don't want to do that kind of internal work. But the ones who do, they move differently. They walk with a kind of quiet strength that simply cannot be faked. When things in your life fall apart, you will be tempted to give up. You will want to take the easy way out. But in those moments, you have to ask yourself, what would the stronger version of me do right now? What would the person I want to become in the future be proud of? And then you do that. Even if it's hard, even if it feels like you are completely alone, you do it. Because that is the work that builds character. That is what separates the people who grow from the ones who stay stuck. People don't grow when things are easy. They grow when it's dark, when the path forward isn't clear, when they are unsure and scared. But they keep showing up anyway. You get better when you stop complaining and start taking ownership of everything in your life. Your time, your choices, your attitude, your habits. That is the real battle, and it is one that you often have to face on your own. You don't have to announce your struggle to the world. You don't have to prove that you are strong. Just keep showing up quietly, consistently. Let the hard days shape you. Let the pain teach you. Let the silence build your focus. It is in that space, where no one is watching and no one is checking in, that you develop the kind of grit that turns struggle into strength. And when you finally come out on the other side, you will realize that you didn't need the applause. You didn't need the attention. You just needed to believe in your own ability to keep going. You will carry yourself differently. Not in a louder way, but in a stronger way. Because you will know what it took. You will remember the days you almost gave up, but you didn't. The nights you cried, but you still got up in the morning. The immense pressure you faced, but you chose to rise through it instead of running from it. Struggles will never stop coming. Life will not suddenly become easy, but you will become harder to break. And that matters more than anything else, because once you know that you can survive the worst without losing your drive, no challenge can ever truly scare you. No setback can stop you for long. You have built yourself from the inside out. And that is the kind of growth that lasts forever. It is not given to you. It is earned. It is not shared with the world. It is lived. Handle your struggles alone and grow from them. Not for praise, not for sympathy, but for the version of you who is waiting on the other side of the pain. Stronger, smarter, sharper, and ready for whatever comes next. Let your results show what you've been doing. That is the mindset of someone who no longer feels the need to convince anyone of their worth. Not with their words, not with their explanations, not with constant updates. You just work. You build. You stay consistent. And eventually, your life begins to change in tangible ways. Not because you said it would, but because you made it happen. Quietly. On your own time, and on your own terms. The people who spend the least amount of time talking about what they're doing are often the ones who are getting the most done. This is because their energy is going directly into the work, not into proving that they are working. There comes a point in your journey where you realize that talking about your goals doesn't actually move you forward. It might feel good for a moment, but it doesn't create any real results. You can share what you are planning to do. You can explain what you want to achieve, but nothing in your life truly changes until you sit down, focus, and start building it step by step. And the truth is, people don't remember your plans. They remember what you finish, what you build, what you follow through on. So stop trying to sound impressive and start focusing on becoming effective. There is a special kind of discipline that comes from doing the work without needing to be seen. There is a deep confidence that grows when you know that you have been putting in the effort, even when nobody else has noticed. That kind of discipline is incredibly rare. Most people today are busy performing. They want to be known for something before they have actually done anything. But if you want to build a life that lasts, you must focus on your actions, not on your image. What matters most is not what people think you are doing, but what you actually get done. You don't have to explain why you have been distant. You don't need to justify your schedule to anyone. You don't owe anyone a detailed timeline of your progress. Just keep your head down and do the work. Every single day. When you're tired, when it's boring, when nobody seems to care, that's when it matters most. Because results come from repetition, from structure, from doing the same things over and over again until you get better, until you get stronger, until your results simply cannot be ignored anymore. And when that day comes, when the results finally start to show, it will be completely obvious to everyone. People will notice the change. They will ask you what happened. But by then, the answer will be crystal clear. You have been working. Not just once in a while, not only when it was convenient for you, but every single day, on your own, without distractions, and without the need to be seen. That is what creates a true transformation. Most people don't last that long. They get discouraged when no one notices their initial progress. They want fast results, and they want fast praise. But lasting, meaningful results take time. They take sacrifice. You might have to miss out on some things. You might be misunderstood for a while. But that is the cost of building something real. And if you are truly serious about your life, you will be willing to pay that price without any complaint. Because you are not working for applause. You are working for a better version of yourself. You are working to build something that can never be taken away from you. The real win is when you no longer feel the need to talk about what you are building. When you are so completely focused on doing it that everything else just becomes noise. That is when your time becomes truly valuable. That is when your habits become razor sharp. That is when your life begins to shift from a state of planning into a state of producing. And you will find that the very people who once questioned you will eventually come to respect you. Not because you tried to impress them, but because your results forced them to. It is not about showing off. It is about leveling up in silence and letting the results do all the talking for you. The people who matter will see it, and the ones who don't, well, they won't be able to ignore it. Results are always louder than promises. They speak for you when you choose to stay silent. They prove what your words never could. Because anyone can talk about their potential, but only a few have the patience and the discipline to turn that potential into tangible proof. Stop wasting your time explaining yourself. Start using that time to execute your plans. Turn off the noise. Focus on the small daily actions that move you forward. Keep your progress to yourself. Not because you are hiding, but because you are serious. Because you know that showing up and doing the work is infinitely more powerful than trying to convince people that you are doing it. The more you act, the less you will feel the need to talk. Eventually, people will see the changes in your mindset, in your attitude, in your results, and in your entire life. And by that point, you won't need them to. You will already know. You will see it in your daily discipline. You will feel it in the strength you have built. You will carry it in the way you speak, the way you move, and the way you live. Quiet, consistent effort always pays off. It just takes a bit longer, but it also lasts a lot longer too. There is no pressure when you stop performing for other people. There is no stress when your only competition is the person you were yesterday. And there is no doubt when you have been putting in the work every single day, even when it wasn't easy. That is the part that nobody sees. That is the part that people don't post about online. The long hours, the early mornings, the skipped distractions, the days you pushed through even though you felt like quitting. But all of it adds up, and over time, it turns into something that no one can deny. Let your habits do the talking. Let your consistency make the statement. Let your growth be the answer. You don't need to defend your work ethic. You don't need to explain your priorities. Just keep showing up, keep building, keep improving. And one day, your results will become so clear, so strong, and so obvious that no one will ever have to ask you what you've been doing. They will already know, because it will show in everything that you do. Real progress is quiet, it's patient, it's humble. But it always shows up in the end. So put your energy where it truly matters, into your effort, into your action, into your mission. And when the time is right, your results will speak for you, and they will say everything that ever needed to be said. Win big without announcing a single move. That is not just a clever strategy. It is a sign of maturity. It is a sign of focus. It is the embodiment of understanding that real, substantial success does not require a stage. The more you grow, the more you will come to realize that the loudest person in the room is often the one who is doing the least. And the quiet ones, the focused ones, they are not broadcasting their every move. They are not seeking constant attention. They are executing their plans. They are making small, strategic moves on a daily basis. They are doing what needs to be done without feeling the need to share it with the world. And when the results finally arrive, they arrive with a sense of strength, with a depth of character, and with an undeniable clarity. You do not need to tell anyone what you are working on. You do not have to explain why you have gone quiet, why you are no longer as available as you once were, why you are not posting on social media as frequently as before. If you are serious about building something valuable, your health, your skills, your finances, your character, then the process requires a certain degree of stillness. Because the more you focus on telling people about what you're doing, the less time and energy you have for actually doing it. And it is the doing that separates the talkers from the winners. Most people announce everything. They set a new goal, and they immediately share it with everyone they know. They start a new routine, and they want other people to notice and praise them for it. But the problem with that approach is simple. The second you announce your intention, you give your brain a reward that it hasn't actually earned yet. It feels like you've made progress, but in reality, nothing has actually changed. You haven't finished anything. You have simply received attention. And attention is a very poor substitute for discipline. Winners know this instinctively. That is why they keep their work quiet and let the results deliver the message for them. When you win in silence, the reward is internal first and foremost. You are not seeking applause. You are not asking for validation. You are completely locked in. You are chasing the standard that you have set for yourself, not the approval of a crowd that has no idea what you are sacrificing. That is true power, because now you are working from a place of purpose, not from a place of pressure. You are motivated by your own mission, not by who might be watching you. And when it is all said and done, when you finally succeed, when your body is stronger, when your mind is sharper, when your life is more stable, there is no need for any grand announcements. The shift in your life will be seen, it will be felt, and it will be respected. Not because you forced it upon anyone, but because it is simply undeniable. You can't hide real elevation. But you also don't have to scream about it from the rooftops. It carries itself. The person who wins quietly also learns how to handle their success with humility. They are not in it to show off. They are not trying to trigger jealousy in others or to prove anyone wrong. They have matured past that point. They know that the real reward is the progress itself, the freedom it brings, the new options it creates, the deep confidence it instills. When you have earned something through your own private effort, you don't feel the urge to throw it in anyone's face. You just keep moving forward, calm and focused. You do not owe anyone a detailed breakdown of how you got to where you are. You do not need to explain how long it took, how hard it was, or what you had to give up along the way. That part of your journey belongs to you. The long nights, the early mornings, the setbacks, the quiet wins, those are personal. You built your success in silence, and the reward is yours to enjoy with a sense of peace. Winning big without saying a word also protects your future. Because when people do not know what is coming, they cannot interfere with it. They cannot speak their doubt into your plans. They cannot distract you with their unsolicited opinions. They cannot sabotage what they cannot see. Your silence becomes your shield. While other people are busy showing off and seeking validation, you are working in the dark, staying grounded, staying focused, and building something that cannot be undone by noise. And silence builds discipline. When you don't talk about your every step, you learn to rely on yourself. You become your own source of motivation, your own system of accountability. And in doing so, you gain full control over your own journey. You move based on clarity, not on the reaction of the crowd. You pivot with precision, not with pressure. That is how winners win again and again. Because they never hand over their control. You start to realize that not everyone needs to be involved in your process. Not everyone deserves to know your next move. Not everyone can handle your growth. And you are not obligated to include them. You are not being rude. You are being responsible. You are being responsible for your time, responsible for your mindset, and responsible for your vision. And that responsibility requires a certain degree of privacy. Winning in silence also teaches you to trust the process. Because when nobody knows what you are doing, there is no instant feedback. There is no cheering section. There is no social reward. It is just you and the work, you and your habits, you and your choices. And that teaches you to stay consistent without being seen. It teaches you to love the grind for what it gives you, not for how it looks to others. That is the deepest kind of growth. the kind that is built in quiet, unseen places. And when the win finally comes, and it will, it feels different. It is not a surprise. It is not a matter of luck. It is not something that happened overnight. It is something that you earned. And because you didn't need the world to believe in you first, the victory feels even more complete. You believed in yourself when no one else did. You kept going when it would have been easy to stop. You stayed the course when it got hard. And now, the results are permanent. Let other people talk. Let them chase after attention. Let them pretend. You stay silent, and you stay dangerous. You do the work that they avoid. You build the life that they only talk about. You walk with a quiet confidence because you have earned it. You move differently because your habits are different. Your discipline is different. And your purpose is clear. And that is the real win. Not just the outcome, but the person you became in order to achieve it. Quiet, focused, humble, and relentless. That is how you win big without announcing a single move. Because the move is already in motion. The change is already happening. The shift is already underway. You are not talking about it. You are living it. Every day, every hour, in every choice you make. When people finally see it, they will think it happened fast. But you will know the truth. It didn't happen overnight. It happened in silence, in discipline, in the hours that no one counted, and on the days that no one cared. And you wouldn't have it any other way. Because real success doesn't scream. It doesn't beg to be seen. It simply shows up, strong, undeniable, and built to last.